What simple piece of advice, if followed, could potentially save most people a lot of money? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the Vancher channel. Also, please share your thoughts on this video in the comments. Let's get started. Story 1. I'm a bit late to the party, but for impulse buyers like me, this is a really good tip. When you're thinking about buying something you don't necessarily need, imagine somebody offering you the thing in one hand and what it costs in cash in the other. If you would take that cash over the thing from this imaginary stranger, you probably shouldn't buy the thing. Next story. Don't buy it right now. Buy it next week. You'll probably forget about half the stuff you'd have thrown your money at in the spur of the moment. Next story. If you use it often and it's not perishable, buy in bulk, especially if it's on special. I've seen guys waste money coming in week after week for a few razor blades, a 3-pack instead of a 12-pack, purely because the small pack is cheaper. No, bro, work it out per blade and the 12-pack is cheaper. This works with almost 90 of goods. Answer. This is a huge comment and vastly underrated. Ironically, it is also why the very poor have trouble saving money on purchases. People with enough savings to buy in bulk save tons of money by doing so. Living paycheck to paycheck often forces people to buy smaller portions at a higher cost per unit. The lesson here is to plan your purchases. Even if you can't afford to buy everything in bulk up front, track your purchases and look at opportunities for savings. If you buy something on a regular basis, convert that single item to a bulk purchase. Over time, you will build a stockpile and savings that you need to get into a sustainable pattern of bulk purchasing and get ahead of the curve. Next story. If you can't afford it now, you probably won't be able to afford it when the credit card statement comes. Answer. Corollary to this, if you can't make a decision between one thing or another, or whether or not you can afford it, sleep on it. 90 of the time when I do this, I end up deciding not to get whatever it is. It's one thing to have it in your hand or in your Amazon cart, because usually we can talk ourselves into anything. Once you disconnect yourself from the temptation, it's easier to think rationally and make the decision to hold off. Take a breath, people. It'll save you money and regret. Next story. Pay yourself first. When you get paid, systematically put some into savings. Decide your percentage beforehand, 10 for example, and do it every time. Next story. Don't start budgeting in a few years. Start now. Heck, even if you're in high school and flipping burgers on the weekend, the ability to create and stick to a budget will make a massive difference to your life. Once you begin to budget your money, you'll quickly realize where you are blowing your money on stupid shit. Set a limit for the fun stuff, but also have savings, a contingency plan, and you can save up for something you really want. Answer. I created a VB8 Excel file just for that purpose. I copy-paste my transaction records into it, which are from my online banking statement, run a script to consolidate credits debits by date, manually punch in my investments, retirement mortgage values, and pump all that out in a chart of my total value over time. So far, I'm going steadily upwards. Next project, pie charts for my expenses categories. Idiot. Okay, guys, I'm getting spammed with Mint.com suggestions to such an extent that my inbox looks like my Hotmail account. It doesn't work with my bank. I don't know why. I'm not interested in figuring out why, since obviously enough I worked around it by taking care of things myself. Next story. Budget like your life depends on it. And it does. What I do is set a budget for everything. My utility bill has never been more than $150. So I always set aside $150. Last month, my bill was only $88, so $62 went into savings. Next story. Don't get in credit card debt, especially store cards. I'm looking at you, Walmart. Some of these cards have interest rates of 18. Edit a letter. Answer. I watched a girl get fudge over hard with store cards once. I worked at Best Buy, and this young girl and 3 young guys came in. The girl wanted to open up a store card. Naturally, we were suspicious as they all appeared under 18. We checked and double-checked the info she gave us, and the bank said she was good to go. She was given a card with 4.5, or about that, APR, and a $3,000 limit, and no interest for 6 months, if I recall. She went about bought a PS3, PSP, games and accessories for each of the guys she was with. Turns out they were Herb and his 2 best friends. She completely maxed out the card with those purchases, a laptop, and movies, all in the span of a few hours. Of course, the management was ecstatic. A huge sale and a credit card enrollment. Girl came in 7 months or so later, crying her eyes out, on the verge of going mental. Turns out she forgot to read the fine print. If the card isn't at zero balance after the 6 months, you are not only charged the interest for all items that were purchased within those 6 months, but you are billed at your new interest rate of 21. The girl was crying and making a scene. Her BF had left her shortly after her purchase. He wouldn't return the items to her, nor compensate her for her purchases. She worked a part-time for minimum wage and didn't expect to have to pay this much. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything they were willing to do to help the girl out. But to be fair, I don't think the credit card was her only mistake. Next story. For any large purchase, wait a few months before buying it. Do a little research, wait for a deal, wait for the newer model to come out. I have done this for just about every fairly expensive item I have. Kindle, tablet, game consoles, phone. I got them for a decent price. All the bugginess of new models had been worked out. I could budget and set aside some money just for that purchase. By waiting, I discovered what I really needed, as opposed to what I wanted. In each case, I have never regretted spending the money. Answer: I would always say sleep on big purchases. With that said, I do have one caveat. Don't get into the, I'll just wait a few months for the new model to come out if you really want it and are going to buy anyway. You can get to the point where it is a year later because you have continuously been waiting on the new product when you really do need to get it. Technology is always upgrading, so don't get too caught up in waiting for the next big thing. Next story. I did a quick look, but didn't find it listed. Don't buy new all the time. Make a list of things you want to buy and go check out refurbished with warranty. Check out thrift and consignment shops. Check out Craigslist, but don't succumb to the Craigslist killer. Answer: totally agree with this. All our friends were decorating their baby rooms with themes. Construction, woodland creatures, etc. When our baby came along and people asked how we were decorating, we told everyone we were going with Craigslist chic. Now our kid has a bedroom full of mismatched furniture and a college fund. I'm pretty sure that when the time comes, he'll appreciate that more than having had a rocker that matches the crib. Next story. I'm a professor. Go to community college first. You can afford to say, fudge it not for me, without being in an investment trap. You can still learn valuable critical thinking skills and learn about the social ailments of the world. In fact, from my experience, CC profs are often more active and concerned about social justice issues than higher up the ivory tower. You have access to CTE, career and technical education programs, which can set you up with great careers. And if you decide four-year university is for you, you can do your general education requirements and transfer with ease to your local university and save a boatload of money. People don't realize when they are struggling through a 200-person physics course at a university with an absentee prof and apathetic TAs that they can drive down the road and pay a fourth of the cost to learn the same material in a class of 40 with a prof that cares. And CCs always have transferability arrangements with the nearby universities, meaning they spoon-feed you this option. Edit: holy crap, thanks for my first gold. And great comments on the potential pitfalls to this route. I am, of course, speaking in general terms and didn't go into the detail like how you should know what transfers and doesn't prior. Also, I started at a community college before going on to liberal arts and state universities, and now I am a professor at a CC, so I'm a little biased. But it worked for me. Answer: this is probably the best advice here. 1. Find the university you want to get into. 2. Talk to an advisor and ask what community colleges will transfer over credits. 3. Go to CC, save $20K for the 2 years that you spend taking general requirements. 4. Don't fudge up. 5. Transfer to the university and continue as normal. Downsides: you don't get 2 years of college experience, but most of my freshman and sophomore years I spent in a dorm figuring out what to do, as we weren't old enough to go to bars. Next story. Buy cars in cash and live in smaller houses. Sure, you can save $1 or $2 here or there on coffee or packing lunches, but the big money is in transportation and housing. You can save many $100s per month buying used cars in cash versus leasing or financing, and lowering your rent, mortgage, and household utilities by buying smaller housing. Answer: while this is great advice, especially if someone is really struggling to stay afloat monetarily, it is so much more complicated than this. Big buys like vehicles and homes have a lot of factors weighing in on whether it makes sense fiscally or not. Just thinking about cars, a few questions pop up. What is the gas mileage? I can get an older car, but what will it cost in upkeep, especially since many dealers offer maintenance programs? How far am I driving to work? Which raises the question of if a car is even necessary in certain instances. Homes have a similar laundry list of choices that make the decision to buy new versus old just as complicated. I'm not saying you are wrong. If someone is in a position where they have to save as much as possible, you are probably correct. I'm just saying it's much more complicated than it's made out to be. Next story. Do absolutely everything in your power to avoid paying interest fees. It's just throwing money away. If you buy unnecessary things while in debt, think of it as paying interest on those purchases. Next story. I could be mistaken, but I remember reading in a similar thread that you should clear your browser cookies when buying a plane ticket online. Apparently, they use cookies to keep track of how many times you check the price of that particular flight and make it more expensive so you panic and buy it. Therefore, clearing the cookies takes away that extra charge. I could just be making shit up, but I'm pretty sure I remember this. Answer: yeah, this is true. My friend and I heard about it and tried it to see if there was any truth. He looked up a certain airfare, and then a couple of hours later, he looked it up again. It had gone up nearly 100. He messaged me and got me to go and look up the exact same fare, and it was the original price he had found it for in the first place on my computer. Bastards. Next story. When you're younger, and therefore don't have to pay bills or whatever, any paycheck you get, split it in at least half and put half into a savings account and the other into your normal account. This has helped me have a fairly large sum of money for someone my age just sitting there for when I need it. Edit. Just to clarify a few things and why this still works for me, I am living in Australia. I live at home. My parents are not super rich, but not poor either. Answer: if you are going to save it, don't put it in a savings account. There are much better ways to save that will appreciate your savings. Your money depreciates faster than the ridiculously low interest rate if you're saving for long-term. Read about Roth IRAs. Also, if you are on a path to a well-paying career where you will make a significant income, the hundreds you save now will likely be dwarfed by the extra income you have a few years down the road. Don't miss out on experiences that can enrich your life and character to save what you'll consider change a few years down the road. Next story. Drink a pint of water in place of every third pint of beer. Saves you money, and your liver will thank you. Next story. Make a budget and give $1 to every job. We personally use YNAB. Eat at home. This doesn't mean order delivery every night. Cook your own meals. This can really cut back on your food spending. Cut cable. That stuff is way too expensive. Look into alternatives to cell phone service. I use a prepaid 4G tablet with a Google Voice number. My cell bill is $20 a month. No contract. Don't buy extended warranties. Sometimes all you need to do is watch a simple YouTube video to figure out how to fix your broken toaster. Put away money in an emergency fund. Then use that when you have unexpected expenses rather than your credit card. Don't use your credit card unless it's a car or health-related emergency. Above all else, be content with what you have. You can have a new toaster, but you're still eating the same toast. Next story. Don't use credit cards unless you know you're one of those people that will pay the bill off completely at the end of every month and want to take advantage of the rewards. Next story. Take your credit card, put it in a Ziploc bag, put that in a Tupperware, fill it with water, stick it in the freezer. If you still want to buy something by the time your credit card thaws out, go for it. Edit. In case it's not obvious, my advice is directed at the millions of people who cannot seem to manage their credit at all, rather than the handful of people responding with the obvious answer. Have more discipline. Next story. For the youngins, really think about if you want to go to college. It's not for everyone. There's a lot of opportunities in the skilled trades now if you're into one of them. College can put you into major debt, so make sure you want to make the investment beforehand. Edit. Please don't confuse not going to college with choosing not to get an education. In America, there seems to be a huge push for getting a traditional college degree. What I am suggesting is that people consider going to trade school if traditional college doesn't interest them. There are opportunities out there for mechanics, welders, HVAC, electricians, heavy equipment operators. The list goes on. Maybe check into something like these if you find it interesting. Not everyone finds traditional colleges and universities stimulating enough. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Just weigh your options first. Edit 2 thanks Apollyon for suggesting those interested visit as a great starting place. Answer: I'm a community college professor, and I fully support this post. If you are not sure, go the community college route first or take a couple years off between high school. There are inherent values to education regardless of what you do with it. But if you go to community college first, you can afford to say, fudge it, it's not for me, once you figure it out. And through your community colleges, you can find great CTE, career and technical education programs. Seriously, a skilled welder makes more than I do, and they spend a fifth of the time in college. Next story. Housing and food eating out will eat a lot of budget if you let them. Live within your means. Don't get payday loans. ever. Credit card interest will eat you alive if you make minimum payments. So if you must let a balance float, pay it off the next month. Get a cheap but affordable car. You don't need a $30K car. A $15K car will do if you must buy new. Appropriate tires will be cheaper than paying insurance deductibles or increased premiums if you live somewhere with weather. If you can take public transportation, you can save a lot by doing that instead of getting car in the first place. Adult beverage at a bar is very expensive. Buy Cards Against Humanity and have a guest bring a bottle of rum. Save for a rainy day, even a little, every month or a pay period. Next story. 1. Go shopping for groceries. 2. Cook for yourself. Bring your own lunch to work. Join RDOP Cooking if you're having trouble with steps 1 and 2. Answer, as a warning, this requires a higher initial investment in stocking a fridge, pantry spices. But yeah, so much cheaper in the long run. Also, ladies love a man who can cook, and men love ladies who can cook, not to reinforce gender stereotypes, but yeah. And I suspect men love men who can cook, if you swing that way. And women love women who can cook. I would watch this on YouTube. Next story. You can buy a Chipotle burrito bowl and small, soft-shell taco shells from the grocery store. Then load up the tacos yourself, and you've got 8-10 tacos for the price of 3. Next story. Since most of us spend 1/4 to 3/4 of our wages on rent or mortgage, living in a car could save lots of money. Next story. Don't bother buying bottled water. Assuming you're in a first world country, your tap water is just fine. Next story. Many credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express, but check, have a program that extends your warranty for anything with some exclusions you purchase on the card by a year. I haven't actually tried using it to see how the service is, but it's something that is missed because it's in the fine print. Others also have travel insurance, including medical evac. Next story. If you're a guy and you go to Victoria's Secret to buy something, make sure you know what you want before you go in. The sales staff look for uncomfortable guys to sell the expensive stuff to. Answer. I did this a few months ago, and the sales girl sent me right to the $60, $80 bras, asked if they has anything cheaper, and she brought me to their sale area, which looked like it had been hit by a tornado, and she picked through the pile with me to find my girl's size. I found the exact same bra that I liked that was over 60 for like 25, just a diff color. Next story. Quit smoking. Only eat at a restaurant if it's a social gathering. Ditch cable TV. Eat your leftovers. Install a programmable thermostat. Don't wash your jeans and shirts so often. Next story. Just because something is on sale doesn't mean you should buy it. If it's not something you was going to buy anyways, just because it's discounted does not make a good deal of saving X amount. In reality, you spent Y amount on something you wouldn't have normally. It's a loss, not a saving. Next story. 2 pieces of advice. 1, when you owe money and are paying interest on periodic payments, always pay extra, like a mortgage or car loan, for example. I did this and paid off a 30-year mortgage in 10 years, saving possibly $100 on 20 years of interest I won't have to pay. 2, don't buy things on credit that you can't afford to pay of in full that same month, i.e. never ever, not even a small amount, carry a balance on a credit card. Ooh. Next story. Drive the speed limit and buckle your safety belt. It cost me $120 a month in car insurance for a 12-year-old Prius because I had a lead foot in my younger days. Now I have a bad catalytic converter, and my car is physically unable to exceed the speed limit. I haven't received a ticket in 2 years. My insurance rates have flatlined. Edit. You'd think I was related to Al Gore. I pressed that old car so hard. Told doctor a bad catalytic converter really slows you down. Next story. Passively managed investments like index funds, sector funds, SPDRs generally perform as well, if not better, than actively managed funds. An actively managed fund has a fund manager that is trying to beat the market by buying and selling stocks she thinks are good, and the savings of 0.5% to a full % of annual expenses related to management and portfolio turnover could easily result in a 50 larger retirement account when you retire. Next story. Buy groceries, make and bring your own lunch to work. Also, coffee machine at work. Cut out coffee stops on way into office. Next story. All purchases accumulate. 1 coffee every morning is $3.65 a year. What if you had a muffin with your coffee? $2.50 for both maybe? How much cheaper is it to make those things at home? Edit. I get it. It's not always perfect, but it is an option to keep in mind day to day. Next story. Instead of getting your taxes done with a big-name company, use a mom-and-pop company that has had the same owners for years. Source, I worked at a locally owned tax company one tax season, and the husband and wife that ran the company had done so for around 34 years. During this same time, my dad had my taxes done in our hometown with the accountant that we've been using for years, but he works for a big company. My tax return? $200. Cost to get my tax return done? $250. Dad paid. Shout out to my awesome parents. People who came to the company I worked at and had the same amount of work with their taxes that I had paid around 30. They're also a lot easier to communicate with and always remember clients. Although I know there are always outliers to this fact, and you can end up going to a sketchy local place. Just be smart about your decisions. Next story. Everyone always says pack a lunch. The best way to do this: make twice as much dinner as you need the night before. Half of it goes into Tupperware, half to your dinner plate. Pasta bowls are great for this. A lot of people will tell you to use a crock pot. Those are nice, but you'll get tired of eating the same food all week. A pasta bowl with chicken or pork is a balance between cheap and tasty, and you won't necessarily get sick of eating the same thing every day. Answer: a lot of people will tell you to use a crock pot. Those are nice, but you'll get tired of eating the same food all week. A pasta bowl with chicken or pork is a balance between cheap and tasty, and you won't necessarily get sick of eating the same thing every day. Wait, what? Don't get a crock pot because you'll get tired of eating the same thing every day. Instead, make pasta and eat the same thing every day. Next story. When you don't want to check how much money you have in the bank, you should check how much money you have in the bank. One that I follow personally: always round down. If you have 472.93 in your bank account, you have 470 at most to spend. This will ensure that you never overdraw your account. Answer: on that note, if you have static bills, always round up. My cell phone bill is 92 and some change, but I always round it to 100. I'm also addicted to checking the balance in my bank account. During the time when the day star is shining, I usually look at it about every 2 hours. I always know exactly how much money I have and what bills are pending payment. This is a habit that I picked up when I was poor, and I continue with it now that I am not as poor. Next story. 1. Buy meat on sale. Separate, vacuum pack, freeze. 2. Buy pasta and rice in bulk, separate into mason jars, store on shelf, open one at a time. 3. Same thing with bulk mashed potatoes, which if used this way, are cheaper than real potatoes. 4. Cheese is expensive, and we waste a lot through spoilage. Search for specials and freeze the extra. 5. Only buy 1 or 2 bread products at a time. Use all of them before buying more. 6. Mortgage. Save the full down payment. Starting with equity is a great idea, and PMI insurance is a big waste of money. Refi when the difference between your rate and the new 30-year rate is 1.5 points or more higher than advertised rates, but do not take cash out. Pay an extra payment against your mortgage loan each year, against principal. This will save a huge amount of interest over time. 7. Car. Buy in the sweet spot, under $25,000, with all the basics included and none of the crazy expensive packages. Drive it 150,000 miles. Do this and maintain the car properly, and you can bring your total cost per mile very low with very little trouble. 8. Insulate the house and use zone heating. Most other solutions cited as new technologies, etc., aren't cost-effective in under 10 years, meaning you shouldn't do them. 9. Renting is much more expensive than owning because the government subsidizes ownership over renting with a tax credit. And rents follow the market. A personal mortgage is like a rent cap law. It limits your exposure to housing cost increases as long as you don't move. Don't ignore this rent versus buy rule for more than 5 years. It's very expensive. 10. Don't use credit cards. They were a great idea once, but today the companies have changed the business model to prey on their own customers. Fees. High interest rates, rates which change inside disclosures a brain surgeon wouldn't understand. Liars. Stay away from them. 11. Cell phone. Shop, bargain. Try your best, but accept the fact these companies are criminal enterprises along the lines of the credit card companies disguised as big business. They know every trick: multi-year contracts, free, plan switches, cancellation fees, the whole thing. Criminals. 12. It's impossible right now to advise on health insurance. The whole marketplace and business plan is in flux. 13. Never buy whole life insurance. Big ripoff. Only buy term during the years you are married and have young children. Buy a 20-year level term policy in each of the year a child is born in the same amount, with that new child as the sole beneficiary. The policies will expire naturally as the need disappears, and your total cost of life insurance will be very low. 14. Car insurance. Buy from the non-broker or direct-to-consumer companies like the Gecko and Flow. Their business model is more efficient, and that translates into lower rates. 15. If you can get USAA insurance, must have military connection through family, Do it, even cheaper than the direct-to-consumer companies. 16. Clothes are a huge waste of money generally. Most people spend way more than they need to on clothes. Buy 3 pairs of jeans on sale, rotate them, wear them for 20 years. Shirts are tougher, they wear out. Ask for shirts for birthdays and Christmas. This will lower your yearly shirt costs dramatically. Exchange the bad ones. 17. Buy soda in 2-liter jugs on sale. This can cut soda costs by 75. 18. Never send money to Nigeria. Loan money to people you want, keep as friends, or allow anyone to get access to your bank accounts, including the auto debit companies like the phone company. Protect your cash and your privacy. Next story. Pack a lunch. Here's why. Cost of lunch, 8 to 15, depending on where you go. Call it mid-range 10, 5 days a week, 50, 52 weeks a year, 2,700. My personal lunch budget runs around 10 a week. Times 52 is still approx. 2180 savings. Just over 2,000 saved by packing a sandwich. Not to mention gas saved not driving to the restaurant. Edit. Quick math betrayed me. There's 52 weeks to account for, not 48. Next story. My high school math teacher always said, never get a credit card or start doing substances. And especially don't buy substances with a credit card. Next story. Never spend your money before you have it. And don't buy things just because they're cheap on sale. Invest in quality items you will actually use and enjoy. Credit goes to Thomas Jefferson. Edit. Thomas Jefferson was known for dispensing those pieces of advice. I never said he followed them. Next story. Drink water instead of other beverages, especially at restaurants. Expense saved while improving long-term health. Next story. Fill your fridge to capacity. If there is space in your fridge, fill it with water bottles. This keeps your fridge colder for longer. I tried it and my energy bill went from 150 to 50, and that was the only thing I changed. Next story. Always pay off your credit card bill completely. Otherwise, you just throw money away on interest. On a related note, don't spend money you don't have. Next story. Shop cheap. I bought some springs and struts for my car that would normally be about $600. Got some for $150 on Amazon. Some of the best things I ever got. After buying things you want for a while for cheap prices, you begin to buy and spend less. It's addicting, saving money. Next story. Get rid of cable. Show them we don't need them. And in the end, we'll have providers for the consumers. Next story. Just stop buying shoot. Seriously, stop it. Look how much fudge junk you have that you don't need and have never needed. Look how much of it was never any use or any fun. Stop caving into advertising and marketing and learn to stop buying garbage. Next story. Ride a bike. It's fun and a hell of a lot cheaper than taking a car every day. Also, pick up a lock for it. Next story. Don't let propaganda define your tastes, wants, needs, desires, lifestyle, opinions, and behaviors for you. This is how the wealthy hold sway over the working class and get their wages. If you stop doing that, chasing propagandized notions of what you should be and should buy to be that, your entire financial situation changes. Consumerism is not human nature. It's a product of propaganda that is defined to psychologically affect the masses without them being aware it's happening. Watch this if you want to understand how it all started and how it is done. Next story. A lot of people could save themselves big hospital bills if they went to the substances store to treat their symptoms first before deciding to check into an ER, assuming they are not experiencing an actual emergency. Fevers, nausea, diarrhea, and even urinary discomfort can all be treated with medicine you can buy over the counter, even with little kids and babies. Next story. Can't believe this isn't posted yet. Cancel your cable TV and high cell phone plans. You'll save thousands a year, which over time can make an enormous difference. Next story. Stop drinking soda. Drink water. There's innumerable other positive side effects besides saving money too. Next story. Negotiate. Always negotiate the price of large purchases. The worst that could happen is the seller refuses to reduce the price. The best thing that could happen is you save a boatload of money. Next story. When you walk into the casino, leave the credit debit cards at home. Bring an amount of cash you are willing to spend for entertainment and walk away when you have lost it all. You will most likely never win it back. Next story. Payday loans are modern loan sharks. They will cripple you financially, and you will end up having to borrow elsewhere to repay. Next story. The price of virtually everything is negotiable. Usually all you have to do is ask. As an example, I am a little league umpire and a baseball coach. I buy a lot of baseball gear around the start of the season. When I am buying in bulk, I ask for a discount based on the amount I'm spending. If I don't get some kind of a discount from the clerk, I ask politely to speak to the manager. If that doesn't work, I politely offer my opinion that it would be a shame for them to lose such a significant sale over what amounts to a small amount of money. If the manager still won't budge, I thank him for his time and head for the door. I've never made it to the parking lot without the manager offering me some sort of a deal. The same works with individual purchases. My wife saw a purse that she really loved and asked me to work my magic. The purse was priced at $180. I asked the clerk if she could help me since my wife really liked the purse, but it was a little more than we could afford to spend. The clerk offered a 20 discount. I thanked her, but said that we had only budgeted for between 100 and 120. She said that 20 was the best she could do. I asked to speak with the manager, and the manager said the same thing. So we left, completing the rest of our shopping in the mall. On the way by the store again, the manager hurried out into the mall and asked if we could meet her halfway at 140, and so my wife got her purse. I saved my family thousands of dollars every year by doing this. I recommend being nice and smiling while you do it. I cost nothing to ask. With retail markup, often at 300 or higher, there is almost always room for a little discount while still affording the vendor a reasonable profit. Next story. Local tourism. You don't have to fly to a faraway land when you surely have cool stuff to do, not far from your home area, unless you live in a desert or tundra. Next story. Stop going to Starbucks. Just stop. Buy yourself a Nestlimo or whatever it is instead if you must have espresso. Next story. One I haven't seen but works. If you have multiple debts that you're paying more than the minimums on, shift your payments to the lowest balance first. So if you have a car, a house, and 2 credit cards and you pay a total of $3,000 per month to all 4, pay the minimums on your 3 biggest debts and then the rest of the $3,000 to your lowest balance. Once it's paid, move on to your next lowest. The entire time you're paying the same amount but rolling chunks of debt out faster. It seems weird, but the math checks out. It takes discipline, though, to not add to your cards while paying them off. Next story. If you see something you want, walk away. Go back 2 hours later. If you still think you need it, buy it. Next story. If you go to court to protest a ticket, even if you think the cop is full of shit, never insult or question the integrity of the officer. When asked for your side, simply say, "The officer was very professional and cordial throughout the whole process, and I was just distracted, running late for work that day, and I apologize. And I hope I wasn't rude to the officer." Judges, magistrates will find you not responsible 95 of the time unless it's clear you were putting somebody in danger. Cops, judges, attorneys, and anyone else who's in court often will all tell you this is the best way to save yourself a few $100s. Next story. Do not get married. This simple trick will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Source: I'm married. Next story. 3-day rule on buying any wants over 50. If you want an Xbox One, wait 3 days. If at the end of the 3rd day you still want it, get it. Most likely you will not. Answer: think about all purchases for longer than you want to, proportional to cost. Research all purchases proportional to profits. Buying a 2 can of beans? Look around the shelf to see if you can get it for 1.89. Spending 100th on college? Research it for 5 years, gain a thorough understanding of economics, and realize that it's a terrible investment. Become a welder. Next story. Don't buy it just because it's reduced. People think they're saving money because item of clothing has been marked down from 50 to 30. But unless they were absolutely going to buy it anyway, they're not saving 20, they're losing 30. Next story. As a structural engineer, never hire an architect. They add so much additional cost to a building just to satisfy their artistic needs. A local drafting service will get you the same result for 1/110th of the cost. Answer: as a general contractor, I need the architectural drawings to give me all the material schedules. It's also the architect's responsibility to make sure everything specified meets code. A local drafting service probably couldn't do that as well. That being said, architects always leave things out of drawings, and I can't even list how many times specification sheets and drawings, both provided by the architect, don't match. Edit. Also, not all architects care about artistic value. Especially when it comes to development, everything is about the lowest bid. Next story. Getting a tax refund is not a good thing. You gave the government an interest-free 16-month loan. People get excited about tax returns but don't realize it's their money. Answer: I totally understand this, but I came to the conclusion a long time ago that I do better with lump sums than small amounts every paycheck. I've paid off more stuff with those lump sums over the years than I ever would have with a small amount at a time. Sure, I should invest that small amount each paycheck into an interest-earning account, but I don't because I don't have that kind of self-control. I do have that self-control when it's a lump sum, though. Next story. Learn to cook. The amount you spend on groceries is nowhere close in comparison to how much you spend ordering takeout or eating at restaurants. Cut down to maybe going out ordering food once or twice a week at most, and you'll see how much money you'll save. Next story. Spend money when you have it and not before. Basically, avoid credit and interest payments as much as you can, or you will be paying for everything you own twice in your life. Never buy extended warranties. They are a company's most profitable service, which should tell you they are in no way value for money. Grow your own cannabis. Just saying. Next story. Get some kind of marketable skill in your 20s, a trade, an IT skill, even if it is not your dream job, then put time in doing it. It gives you something you can use to build income value on by building experience in your field. It might not be fun, but it will fund your fun. That's what jobs do. Not many jobs are fun after 10 or 20 years, even if they were your dream job. That's why they call them jobs, not hobbies. Next story. When you sit at a computer or you plan to go looking at stores for gift ideas, leave your credit card in another room or hide it in your car. The walk back to your car or having to get up and walk around to get your card gives you a few moments to reduce that impulse feeling many sites push on you. Next story. Forget soda, coffee, tea, and whatever else. Just drink water. Buy a filter if you're picky about tap water. You need something with flavor? Put a slice of fruit in your water. Next story. Live as close to your job as you can. Lower transportation costs, more time with loved ones, less stress. Next story. I can't believe this hasn't been mentioned yet. You need to not only have enough money to cover right now, but you also need to save money for the future. If all of your savings are sitting in a bank account, they are doing nothing for your future retirement, children's college plans, etc. Put your money into some safe bonds, mutual funds, etc. Next story. You save more money by paying off credit card debt than having money in a bank account. Let's say you have a toothy balance on your credit card and tootho in a savings account for an emergency. But remember, you're paying 10, 20, 29 on that credit card debt and probably earning less than 1% in the savings account. You're better off owing nothing on the credit card and having no savings in the bank. But what about an emergency? That's when you use the credit card. Next story. Keep a small journal related to your small purchases. You'll be blown away by how much money you thought you hadn't spent. Next story. Bring your own lunch to work instead of buying every day. Then look in your wallet at the end of the month. Thank me later. Next story. Never buy soda, period, but especially at restaurants and go a la carte. Fries and sodas are bland and unhealthy. Why pay extra? If you really, really love soda, buy the cheapest 2 liters you can find. Some people can save hundreds of dollars and their pancreas with this. Next story. Every financial decision you make has an exponential effect on your future wealth. Always ask yourself, is this purchase really needed? What could this money be doing for me otherwise? Next story. Buy less shite. People ask why I am good at saving and how I can afford to go abroad more than once a year. I ask them why they own so many things they never use. Next story. Don't use your bank card to purchase items. Manage how much money you need for the month bills and take the rest out in cash. Next story. Don't spend money if you don't have the money to pay for it. Should I buy something when I don't have money? No, you save up money, then you pay for it. Next story. Don't buy a brand new car. It is not an investment. If you financed a car and have finished paying it off, don't trade it in for a brand new ride just because you can afford to keep paying a car payment forever. Save or invest that money instead. Next story. Cut out the stuff you already know is bad for you. Cigarettes, excessive adult beverage, excessive food, tanning beds for Christ's sake. Next story. Give yourself an allowance. Example, I pay myself $150 every Friday. That's the only money I can touch for the 7 days. Often I'll have some left over at the end of the week. Don't roll it over. Set that aside as savings. Oh, and use cash only. It's too easy to overspend with a debit card. Next story. Don't pay interest, but collect it. This goes hand in hand with delayed gratification. You don't need to finance that TV today. You can wait and pay for it cash later. Better yet, do you really need that TV? If you're disciplined enough, the only thing you should ever need to borrow for is to purchase a house. If you want to be a homeowner, it's so nice to be ahead of the game rather than trying to catch up all the time. Next story. If you have to buy it in installments, and even through a credit card, you can't afford it. This applies mostly to things like electronics. House and car are exempt. Next story. Flossing. This is super long run, but it helps to prevent most gum diseases, tooth diseases, and makes your breath nicer. Also, stronger teeth and gums. It saves money from all the operations, pulled teeth, and other gross stuff that you'd have to pay a dentist to do. Also, see your freaking dentist. Not going to the dentist in 7 years is a surefire way to come in and then need to get crowns or a tooth pulled. Next story. I'm sure it's been said a few times, but buy toys with cash, meaning don't buy anything you don't need unless you already have the money in hand. This also means you should be paying off your credit cards in full every month. Next story. Probably mentioned 1,000,005 times, but when grocery shopping, look at what's at your feet before looking at what's at your eye height. Shops put the things they want to sell most at eye height because that's where you'll be looking most of the time when walking around. Suddenly, the premium brand name peanut butter catches your eye, and below it at your feet in the same section is the unspecific brand X mega pack of peanut butter, which doesn't taste noticeably different but is vastly cheaper. Next story. Spend less than you make. It sounds so obvious that nobody takes it seriously, but if you really focus on that harsh reality, you will be fine. It basically becomes a two-part approach. Increase your income, decrease your outgo. Constantly be working on both until you are out of debt. Once you are out of debt, you will be so used to living frugally, and your income will be far above your standard of living that you can relax and retire. Next story. Before picking your major, make sure you know what kind of material you're actually going to be taught. Look at the previous years. Check profs' websites if available for old course info. Everything you possibly can find. Make sure you're up to it. TLDR, not everyone can do engineering. Next story. I haven't seen this anywhere in this thread, but live near work, find ways to limit your car use. If you work downtown and live in the suburbs, you'll eliminate piles of money on wear, tear, etc. I've made it a goal to always live near one of me or my SO's places of employment so that we never need more than one vehicle because vehicles are money pits. Next story. The Steve Martin don't buy stuff you cannot afford plan. Wife. Okay, so what if I want something but I don't have any money? Spokesman. You don't buy it. Husband. Well, let's say I don't have enough money to buy something. Should I buy it anyways? Spokesman. No. Husband. Now I'm really confused. Spokesman. It's a little confusing at first. Wife. Well, what if you have the money? Can you buy something? Spokesman. Yes. Wife. Now take the money away. Same story? Spokesman. Nope. You shouldn't buy stuff when you don't have the money. Husband. I think I got it. I buy something I want and then hope that I can pay for it, right? Spokesman. No, you make sure you have money, then you buy it. Husband. Oh, then you buy it. But shouldn't you buy it before you have the money? Spokesman. No. Wife. Why not? Spokesman. It's in the book. It's only 1 page long. The advice is priceless and the book is free. Wife. Well, I like the sound of that. Husband. Yeah, we can put it on our credit card. Next story. Read The Power of Influence by Robert Cialdini so you recognize when you're being sold. Don't let others decide for you. Become informed, relevant to mutual funds, getting a computer built, buying, maintaining a car. Next story. Always read anything you sign. Learn how to manage money, budgeting, credit cards, mortgage, retirement savings, etc. Next story. If you live in the U.S., don't go to a university where you will be $100K in debt unless you know your passion will get you through it. Consider international schools, especially Canada. It's strange thinking being 25K in debt is good if you pay for your own schooling, but with some hard work and a good university experience, you can pay it off while keeping a good credit rating. And You Pretty Peaceful mentioned it, but don't think that becoming a skilled worker is bad. I don't know why there is a stigma, but it's good work, and you can make a lot of money while laughing at people racking up debt. Next story. Direct deposit a certain percentage of your paycheck into a separate savings account that you never touch. Forget it even exists. If you don't have that money to start with, you will find that you really can do without it. Next story. If you go to a tax preparation office to have your taxes filed, don't file for the fast refund. Sure, you get your money then and there, but the interest on those tax refund loans are ridiculous. If you just wait for the full refund to be mailed to you from the IRS for just a few months at most, you will receive all your money. Next story. Buy generic medicine, as in don't buy Advil, buy ibuprofen. It's the same thing and about half the price. Next story. If you're a dual-income household, devote yourself to living off of one paycheck and save the other. Next story. Pay off your credit cards every month. If you can't potentially make the payment, then you shouldn't buy it. Next story. If you want to save a lot of money, get comfortable and okay with being on your own for a while. Nothing eliminate your wallet like a significant other. Love mine to passing, but truth. Next story. More of a college thing. Do not buy your textbook unless you 100 need it. I have a textbook that cost me $60 and I never use it. And not because I'm a slack student. It was just never mandatory in class. Next story. Live below your means. If you can afford a big house, get a slightly smaller one and bank the rest every month. Same goes for anything, really. Don't let having a lot of money encourage you to start spending too much more. Next story. High school kids looking to go to college, got to community college, the first 2 years, and then a university the last two. It's pointless to waste that much money for the college experience that you could get enough of by going the last 2 years. And if you want to get a master's in something like business, accounting, ECT, don't waste all of the money on going to a really nice school for an undergrad. Go to a cheap one, then go to a top 20 or Ivy if you make the right grades. Next story. Learn the difference between things you want and things you need. And remember, advertising is for rich people, and it makes you want things you don't need. There's nothing more liberating than waking up one day and realizing advertising doesn't control your life anymore. Next story. My Walmart gave me a 25% discount for one shopping trip because I work Thanksgiving, Black Friday. If any similar opportunity presents itself, but non-perishables in bulk, I have enough TP to last till next year for way less I would have spent without it. Same with tons of other products. I also use coupons. It was $1,005 for $584, almost $50. Bought tires too. Worth it. Next story. Buy used, sell your unwanted goods. Example, buying a brand new snowboard for $600 and letting it sit in your closet versus buying a $250 used snowboard, selling it for $220 when you don't want it. Buying a $1,000 stereo that depreciates $40 out the door versus buying a $600 used stereo that depreciates $5 after you use it for a year. Next story. For stopping at red lights, start braking way before you need to. Saves your brakes. Take your foot off the gas as soon as the lights turns red. Saves gas. Next story. Have the bank automatically take a portion of your paycheck and deposit it into a separate savings account. You won't miss the money, and later on you'll be glad you did it. Next story. Learn how to maintain your car. Most people who just get regular oil changes wonder why their car doesn't make it to the 100K mile marker. I'm not really a car guy, but there is a pretty short to-do list to preserve your engine life. I'm at 150K currently. Next story. Everyone keeps saying packing your lunch, but that comes down to your preference. Lunch might cost you $6 and making it on your own might cost you $3. The savings over the course of a year is about $800. It's money that you could save, but you are getting something out of it, like convenience, extra sleep, and etc. These are my suggestions. 1, if you're a high school student, I would recommend studying your jerk off or going to a public college. You don't want to take out private loans. They have high interest rates, and it's going to hurt your credit score. 2, if you have a well-paying job and you expect to live in your area for a long time, I suggest buying a property instead of renting it. Your mortgage and taxes usually costs around what your rent would cost. At least when you pay your mortgage, it goes towards something. 3, insulate your home. You save money on heating, cooling, and your productivity increases. 4, it's better to put your money in a credit union. I would recommend avoiding places like Citizens Bank, Wells Fargo, and etc. They'll get you one way or another by charging a bunch of fees. Maintenance fees for your bank going less than $25, rearranging your transactions to charge more fees, ATM fees, and etc. Next story. If your company has a 401k plan, max it out, especially if they do matching contributions. It's free money. Next story. Never go get your groceries with an empty stomach. It will make you buy things you wouldn't if you were well fed. Next story. Learn how to do basic auto maintenance. Changing your vehicle's brake pads can usually be done in less than an hour and will save you tons of money and labor. Next story. How about, it's probably not that you don't have enough room, it's more likely you have too much chute. If you have to rent one of those storage sheds that have sprung up around here like mushrooms after a rainstorm, you might be better served to get rid of stuff. Most of what I've seen in those things, we have one right near work, and I often see people getting stuff out or adding to them, isn't worth the price of storage. Yeah, let's pay $60 a month to store 100 worth of stuff. Next story. Make friends with local farmers market vendors. They may give you food and other things they can't sell. Next story. Pack a lunch. Stop eating out. I find where I pay $10 a day, about $70 a week, $280 a month, etc. I could be paying closer to $2 a day in groceries by preparing my lunch. But I can't stop eating out. Yeah, I'm really good at eating out. Next story. For those that are talking about buying used cars in cash, don't buy from dealers. They're the scum of the earth. Buy used cars from racers. Those guys know how to take care of cars and are, highly likely, selling their fast car because they're finished with the sport. I got a 90 Miata 5 years ago, and it's still running great and fast. Little expensive for a used car, but the lack of spending money on repairs saved me a ton. Plus, the dude told me everything about the thing and how to do DIY fixes. Best decision of my life. And I can race too, maybe. Next story. Brush your teeth. I'm sure someone else has said that, but it needs to be repeated. Going to the dentist is not only expensive, it's, for the most part, easily avoided by brushing and flossing regularly. My teeth are failing me as we speak. I wish the good oral hygiene my mom taught me stuck. Next story. Learn to be brutally honest with yourself before a major purchase when asking the question, am I really going to use this? I know so many people who buy stuff and go, oh yeah, we're going to use that all the time. The first year they do, the second year less, the third year less, until they end up just taking up space in the garage and then getting sold on Craigslist for pennies on the dollar. The best examples I can think of are campers, boats, snowmobiles, and exercise equipment. The flip side of this is if you're smart, you can buy the stuff barely used and save a ton of money. My wife and I were talking about getting kayaks. I said, let's rent them first. We still haven't gotten around to renting them, so it was probably best that we didn't buy them. I'm not immune through. I have downhill skis with 2 dons of dust on them. Next story. Don't ask if you have the money for something. Ask if it's worth the money. The answer will usually be no, and you'll always have the money when it isn't. Next story. If you're bad at budgeting, have 2 checking accounts and direct deposit. Figure out your monthly expenses. Figure out how much from each paycheck you need to put towards your expenses and round it to some degree to add some extra room for those slightly pricier months. Set up your direct deposit to automatically put your expense money in one account, which you will use for paying your bills. The remainder goes into your other account that you use for spending, saving, etc. I constantly worry about having enough, and my budgeting skills are still something I'm honing. This certainly takes out a lot of stress with money management. Also, try to get your accounts with a credit union. A lot of banks jerk backwards these days and charge you money to keep your money there. Credit unions functions like a proper bank and pay you interest to have your money there. Not much, but it sure beats paying money to access your money. Edit, formatting. Next story. Dentist here. Take care of your teeth and gums. Brush and floss. You can spend $50 every year on floss, toothpaste, and toothbrushes, or $120 for a full mouth reconstruction. And even then, it's not as functional or aesthetic as having real teeth. Next story. You save $100 off things if you don't buy them. This helps with impulse buys on things that are on sale. Next story. Saving even a little early can have enormous consequences later on. If people understood compound interest and saved even $100 a month, they would be shocked. After 40 years of saving not that much at 4 APY, you would end up with more than $100,000. Next story. I can't believe nobody has posted this yet, but keep your car tires inflated to an appropriate pressure. It's like a free 10 a gallon. Next story. Save for retirement. Start early and contribute as much as you comfortably can. If you start contributing X dollars per month when you're 20 and then stop at 30, by retirement age, you'll have more than someone else who started contributing X per month at 30 and kept contributing until they were 60. Teodotar. Saving for 10 years, then letting interest do the rest results in a better retirement portfolio than starting later and saving for 30 years. Next story. Don't listen to the credit is evil crowd. Instead, learn to manage your credit. I have a good rewards credit card. I use it for all the purchases I would normally pay with debit and pay it off in full every month. Just realize that your credit limit is an arbitrary number. It does not reflect how much you can spend because you may not be able to pay it off. Just because I have a $10K limit on one card does not mean I have the ability to cut a check for $10,000 in a single month to pay off those charges. Your real credit limit is how much disposable income you have. E.g., if you make $3K a month after tax, you can't charge more than $3K a month. It's not rocket science to keep yourself from getting screwed by credit card companies. I see way too much of that thrown around. On the flip side, building up good credit in the U.S. is important. It'll help you out with buying a house, car, if you choose to finance, etc. If you are not a heavy spender, just start with a low limit card. My student card was $700 and put regular recurring expenses on it like a phone bill. Pay in full each month. Source. I'm 25 and was pleasantly surprised by my recent credit pull of $745. Next story. Don't focus too much on saving a few dollars here and there. Increase your earning power instead. It's more fun and has more upside. Next story. Don't eat out. Cook your own food. If you buy food out all the time, not only do you get fat and unhealthy, but so much money is partied too hard. Next story. Don't spend what you don't have and pay off debt as a priority. Compounded interest on credit card purchases is far more than most people think it is when they charge things. Next story. If you can't pay cash for a car, only do a 3-year loan. If you can't afford the payments on the car you want with a 3-year loan, pick a cheaper car. Oh, and once you have a paid-for car, you shall have no non-mortgage consumer debt, lest you be poor the rest of your life. Next story. Never spend more than you make. Another way of looking at purchasing is asking yourself, how many hours did I work to buy this? Next story. Look closely at supermarket price tags. In small print, they often show how many cents per ounce or dollars per square foot, etc. It's a much better way to compare prices for maximum value and can end up saving you 10 to 20 per grocery run. Next story. The generic store brands are manufactured by the same people on the same lines that make the expensive top shelf products. The only thing I splurge and get a name brand with is toilet paper. The cheapo butt paper shall never be between these cheeks. Also, if you see a product on sale that you use a lot of, go ahead and pick up some extra within reason. I'm talking about toiletries and staple foods. Next story. Stop comparing yourself to others. Be happy with who you are, and you will find you buy less clothes, jewelry, expensive cars because you have nothing to prove. Stop eating out. Food at restaurants costs 10 times what it would cost to make at home. Plan your meals a week in advance, accounting for lunches and leftovers. Use coupons. It's like free money. Give me a worthless piece of paper, and I will give you this item for less. Seems simple, huh? Shop around that includes online, in stores, magazines, and asking friends and families. Wait for deals and things to go on sale. Do a no-spend week, buy food the previous week, and only eat what you have on hand. Only buy gas if you need to. Do not buy anything else. Call your people. Those include cable, credit cards, alarm company, insurance, and so on. Ask if you are on the right program, plan, or can reduce your cost. Threaten to break up with them, and many will give you a temporary reduction. Do not buy used luxury cars. I have seen this often. Some 18-year-old wants to drive a Mercedes on a McDonald's income, so they buy a 10-year-old car with 140,900 miles on it. Then it breaks down and it costs Mercedes money to fix it. Buy an economical car, drive it until it dies. Do that a few times and now you can afford a real Mercedes. Consider debt consolidation. Not only if you want to transfer funds, but you can do this neat little trick. Card A has a rate of 5 and 5,000 available. Card B has a rate of 10 and you owe 5,000. Instead of buying things with cash, buy everything with Card A and use the cash to pay off Card B. No fee money transfer. Next story. Spending 10 minutes a day balancing your budget and finances, it will help out more than you think. I need to do this more often. But when I did, I found I had much more control over my money, or lack thereof in FOM. Next story. Know the value of things and use eBay to turn old junk into profit. Old Apple stuff sells for hundreds. Don't just leave furniture on the sidewalk. Sell it on Craigslist. Before throwing anything out, check it out and see if you can make 20 instead. Next story. I hope people benefit from taking a look at Financial Peace University. I've been on top of my personal finances my whole life, and Dave Ramsey's advice is spot on. Nothing wacky or tough to follow. It's only about $70 for the whole course, and spouses can attend for free. This is a must-do for married couples. He also does a podcast for those who just want to dip their feet in first. Next story. Write down what you spend your money on. Sooner or later, you'll get sick of logging it and not want to buy anything. Next story. Take care of your body. It's the only one we get, and it has to last. Eat healthy, exercise, de-stress, laugh, take time for yourself, get sleep, do bad things in moderation. Lengthen your lifespan by making good choices. Mostly, I'm yelling at myself. Next story. I know this isn't rock-solid spending etiquette, but live within your means and you'll enjoy things more. If you buy too much shoot and can't pay the bills, the shoot doesn't mean anything at the end of the month. Next story. Sharon, stop using credit cards debt. Build an emergency fund, 6 months earnings, to get through unplanned events. Car problem, job loss, etc. 3. Pay for everything in cash. Build up savings for big items you need. If you can't afford it, that means it is beyond your means. This approach has changed my life dramatically. Next story. Don't gamble. I found that out the hard way. I'm sorry if someone's already posted this, but it needs repeating if it has been. Next story. If you are under 30, you have more than a reasonable chance to live to age 100. Fact, you are guaranteed to be unemployed and unemployable for the last 20-30 years of your life. It is okay to call it retirement if you want, but whatever you call it, while you are in your earning years, you must plan and prepare for more than just a year or two of being unemployed. Next story. Hookers are cheaper than the phone intimacy hotlines on the long run, and definitely much cheaper than divorce. Next story. Use a budgeting software like Mint. You'll be amazed how much you can save by setting budgets for different areas of spending. Next story. When you go to buy something that you want, think about how many hours the thing is worth. For example, I make 8 OHR. If I buy something that's 40, that's 5 hours. For me, that's 14 of how much I work a week. Or MTN. Due at 7-Eleven is 2. That's 15 mins. Now think, is that purchase worth your time? Next story. Consider very carefully before signing for anything with a recurring fee. Cable, cell phone, whatever it may be. Monthly recurring fees will sink you if you're not careful. That $100 a month, that is nothing to you right now, could cause you to be in a world of hurt 3 months after you were hit with a layoff notice and still have 6 months on your contract. Carry a small balanced credit card so you care covered in emergencies. Use it for daily expenses, only if you have the money to pay it off sitting in the bank. Right now, pay it off ASAP. I have paid interest exactly 1 time in several years. Next story. McDonald's and other fast food restaurants are not saving you money in the long run. I spend typically $250 a month on groceries and cook all of my food. I shop at bulk food stores like Sam's Club, so I'm able to buy a lot of fresh foods in large quantities that will last weeks and weeks. Cooking all of my food costs me about $8.0 a day, whereas spending money on a single meal at a fast food restaurant can easily be 8.0. Plus, I'm eating ridiculously fulfilling, healthy foods instead of pure garbage covered in salt. Eating healthy is not expensive. Never believe any of that bullshit. If someone says that going on a diet is too expensive, it just means they are too lazy to cook for themselves. Next story. Get a good night's sleep. This will allow you to make better, smarter decisions, saving you money in the long run. Next story. General rule of thumb, don't commit 2 crimes at the same time. Carjacking and take down the carjacking victim. Resisting arrest and assault on police officer, etc. Next story. When planning your wedding, never tell the companies you're negotiating with that you're planning for a wedding. Simply tell them it's a large private party. There is a separate pricing sheet for weddings that's typically at least 20 higher. They don't need to know it's a wedding at this point. This saved us around 7,000 euro on our wedding in 1999. Next story. Drink water at restaurants, fast food joints, etc. There's no need to spend 3 on carbonated water and corn syrup every time you get food. Next story. It is never too early to start saving for retirement. If you don't already contribute to a 401k or an IRA, then start today. If you don't know anything about these retirement accounts, then learn. Retirement contributions should be accounted for the same way as rent payments or car payments. They should be another monthly expense that gets paid before any discretionary spending. Next story. When purchasing a computer electronic, bring a friend who knows a ton about that kind of stuff and have them help you. My friend Zach came to Best Buy with me to buy a laptop for college. He was explaining everything to me and helped me get a nice laptop for $300. The sales reps would start to walk up to me, young blonde girl who looks like she knows nothing about computers, see Zach, and turn right around and walk away. No sales rep, shark, will try to sell you stuff if you have someone who knows what they're talking about because they themselves don't know anything but their quotas. Next story. Especially in college. Don't drink at bars and clubs. Have each friend pitch in about $5-10. Have it at someone's house, and I promise you'll have enough booze for the night. You can also drink as much as you want and have people stay over if they can't drive back home. No need for DDs. When you want a drink, you can get a drink. No need to wait for a bartender. When the music sucks, you can change it. You can actually hear other people talking, and you don't have to possibly pay for a taxi. $5-10 for a whole night of drinking compared to $5-10 a drink taxi fare or possibility of DUI, gas money paying for some unlucky DD's meal-own drink is a good deal. Next story. If everyone got vaccinated and participated in preventative medicine, everyone would save money in healthcare costs. Next story. Make home-cooked food more often than eating out. Home-cooked food is usually healthier and the price of ingredients relative to buying food out is less expensive. Next story. Treat a credit card like a debit card. Set it to automatically pay off the full balance every month and don't spend more money than you currently have. Next story. Don't buy a car brand new. The car depreciates in value 15-20 the second you drive it off the lot. With that being said, don't buy a car from a dealership. Try and buy the car straight up from a private party. You will get a much better deal. If you do buy from a dealership, don't finance through them. They are not a bank and you won't get a good rate. Set up your financing prior to shopping for a car and don't inform the salesman when you are haggling to knock down the price. Also, don't trade in your car. Sell it privately. Trading in your car is practically giving it away for free. Next story. From personal experience, don't sign long contracts for girlfriends unless you're absolutely sure it's going to lead to something, and I don't mean intimacy. Next story. If you're still living with your folks and you have a job, save. I'm only 18 and have enough to pay a few months' rent on hand when I move out. That's it for this video. Don't forget to support Vancher and my second channel, Vanchus. See you soon.